The fan, let's check in again with at NRL Physio, Mr. Brian Sini. Welcome to the show.
Good to see you, Vossi.
We are talking dirty letters. Well, to rugby league fans, they hear ACL and straight away they think their favourite star, that's it, surgery.
Absolutely.
Not always the case, as you're here to tell us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, look, it is quite rare and it's only 10 to 15% of ACL injuries, but you can get a partial ACL tear. So in these cases, it is possible to avoid surgery.
Look, you've told me before some amazing stats that, you know, you can have a 20% tear but be able to, or have to have surgery, whereas other times you can have a 60% tear but the knee's stable and don't have to have surgery. Is that how it works?
That's exactly right. And look, what it comes down to really is the functional stability of the knee. So actually getting somebody into the gym, out onto the field, even doing some manual testing with your hands and seeing, is this knee stable? Can it become stable with some training, some rehab, all that kind of stuff? And if you can get that knee stable, you can avoid surgery.
And is it quite possible that often that decision, though, is a period of weeks before they sort of cross that divide to say, right, it's not working, now surgery? Do you roll the dice that way?
Absolutely. So usually it's a process of at least 2 months. You want to go through, obviously there's some initial tests you can do to sort of see how that knee's tracking, but then the rehab process of at least 2 months to sort of see how that knee can strengthen up in that time. In some cases, you can then return to play successfully. We had Kalepi Tanganoa last year. He was able to come back after 13 weeks of some solid rehab, but we also have cases like Sam McKendry. He had a partial ACL tear on his third ACL injury, attempted rehab, and after 7 weeks, they just unfortunately had to go down that surgical path.
Now, here's one without notice. What about the player who finds out they have no ACL, yet miraculously they are playing, they're able to compete and be an athlete?
Absolutely.
How does that work?
Yeah, so this is a really interesting one. It's only come about in the last couple of years, but there are actually cases now, and not only players finding out about it, but players who know they have a ruptured ACL, so completely torn.
Right.
And they are attempting to return to play and succeeding. The situation needs to be right, and everything needs to work well through rehab and stuff like that, but this is a growing research area where players are able to return to play without an ACL.
Peter Wallace didn't have an ACL there?
Correct.
When he finished at Penrith?
He's a perfect example. So 18 months after they went, oh, you don't have an ACL. So usually, how is that possible? Go back 10 years, there's no way we thought that was possible, but now we know that some players are able to do that.
You always teach us something, if not 10 things a show. Thank you for coming on again at NRL Physio on social media.